Good morning. How is everyone? God has blessed me again with another beautiful morning. And um, I did want to clarify one thing. I know that in my last video, I talked about how my family said that I reminded them of Phoebe from Friends. I cherish those moments with my family because it's just our way that we relate to each other. We tease each other and kind of just our way of hanging out and showing each other that we love each other despite our quirks. But there is one more thing I do want to point out from my childhood, specifically as a student. During school, what I would do is I would concentrate on what older students were learning, or I would want to learn about things or go back and visit things that I've previously learned. I hated learning what we were learning at the moment. So my poor teachers, I'm sure that I seem very distracted, and I don't think I was an easy student to teach, just looking at some of my notes here. For instance, if it was in math class, if we were learning fractions and I know decimals was coming up, then I would want to learn about decimals. But when decimals came, I didn't want to learn about decimals anymore. I wanted to go back to fractions. And that's what I mean by being distracted and not being a good student. Plus, I hated studying because I didn't really know how to study, and that, I don't know, the older I got, the more I found myself still struggling to study. I was more mature, more vested in my education, but my challenges had not disappeared. And I wonder if maybe some of my hearing loss is part of the reason I struggled. I don't know about you, and I don't know if this is normal, but even when I study, I have a narrator in my head when people are talking, when I'm reading, when I'm listening to music. There is chatty noise in my head. And sometimes that's very helpful, especially when I'm reading a textbook. But the way I learn is I have to read the book, I have to highlight, I have to write down every single thing that I'm learning, and then I have to do every single problem that's assigned to me in order for me to understand what's being taught. I can remember there were many nights growing up where my oldest brother, he would have like 5 subjects of homework, and maybe I had English and math. He would sit down at the table at like 5 o'clock and be done by 8. He had 10 times the amount of homework I did, just the way it was. But I would only have 2 subjects. I would not go to bed, especially in high school, until about 2 o'clock in the morning. It got to be such an issue that my dad would sit down at the table. Now, my dad's a brilliant man, meaning you give him a problem and he can fix it, meaning automobiles or carpentry, or he's very logical, very smart. But he did not take algebra in high school, so he knows his multiplications and that kind of thing. But to sit down and actually do an algebra problem, my level of math exceeded anything that he learned in school. But I would sit down and he would say, okay, teach me how to solve this problem. And in that moment, that's when my math homework made sense, is when I was teaching my dad how to do my math homework. And that was extremely helpful. So part of the reason I'm saying this is especially for parents or maybe college students who are questioning their ability to learn. Get your hearing checked, because that's what could be causing your student study issues. that's pretty much it. That's all I really feel like talking about today. I don't want to bore y'all too much with a lot of just plain dribble. So until next time, have a wonderful day.